This is the only rod guide you will ever need for the second C in Roblox Fish. I'll be showing you guys how to go from the worst second C rod, or literally whatever first C rod you have, all the way to the best second C rod. And I'll be so honest, it really depends on your preference, but we'll be getting into all of that in this video. And make sure to hit that subscribe button because I post bangers. All right, let's get into it. First things first, the minimum level you guys actually need to be here is level 200. And that's pretty high. I mean, honestly, I will say by that level, most likely you won't need any of the freaking starter rods. I'm talking about you won't need the fire flower rod, you won't need the wildflower rod, and you most likely won't need the frog rod. But let's get into that a little bit deeper. If you guys have the champions rod, I would honestly say stick with it over the frog rod. If you have the trident rod, I would 100% say stick with it over the frog rod. And the worst one, I would say you could kind of get away with it, is the depth seeker rod. Honestly, they're on par. But if you guys have any of those rods, right, and if you have a worse rod, get the frog rod. If you have any better rod, especially if you have the ethereal prism rod, skip all of these beginner rods. Yeah, you're not gonna need them. But the frog rod isn't a bad option. I mean, okay, so the thing about the frog rod, it has a chance to give all the things, the fishes around you, a frog mutation, which is a little hard to explain, but basically every time you fish, you have more frogs build up around you, and the more frogs, the more luck you get. But you only get 3 frogs at maximum, and if you miss a single perfect catch, you lose all your frogs. But at 3 frogs maximum, you get a 2.5 times luck boost, making this a 250% luck rod, which is really, really good. But I would say the lure speed, resilience, and max kilogram limit probably doesn't make up for it. Anyways, guys, whatever rod you have, I don't care what freaking rod you have, you have to go here for the absolute best amount of cash. And before you go here, please have some sundial totems, all right? Because they definitely will help. It is better to fish at this spot at nighttime. I'm talking about the Azure Lagoon, okay? This is honestly right now the best money spot, especially if you're fishing here at night. Another good spot is the Isle of New Beginnings, but when you're fishing, make sure to keep these things in mind because the second sea, very, very different to the first sea. One of the things you'll notice, even if you're fishing with the ethereal prism rod, all right? Honestly, I'll just show you. Dude, these fish are vicious. I don't know if you guys can tell, but that thing on the bottom of my screen is moving very fast, and that's only a -10 progress speed fish. You guys, if you don't use a deep coral and you hook onto a mythical or exotic, you're absolutely cooked, especially if you're using a C1 rod. So I would say at minimum, you guys should use regular coral or even seaweed, but that's the worst you can go because it's only a 10 resilience boost. Use coral or deep coral, or you guys will be cooked when it comes to secret fishes or any rare fish for that matter. But yeah, well, you guys want to fish here, get as much freaking cash as you guys possibly can. And I would say grind here until you get 100,000 unless you have the ethereal prism rod. If you guys have the ethereal prism rod, grind until 200,000. I don't care. Like, yes, it sounds like a lot, but just grind until 200,000. This next rod you most likely aren't going to need. But if you guys don't have the ethereal prism rod, or you really just want this rod, here's where you guys are going to go. You're going to go all the way over to Lush Grove Island. I don't know if we're going to call it an island, but yeah, go over to Lush Grove and then follow my lead. All right. You see these people, you see the angler, you see the shipwright. You're going to look for the merchant. Oh, there he is. Take a left and here's the merchant. Right next to the merchant is going to be the next rod that I want you guys to acquire for the price of 100,000. You can buy the Verdant Shear Rod. So, I mean, the stats on it are pretty decent. I mean, 25% lure speed, 150% luck, 0.15 control, 10% resilience, and a 5,000 max kilogram limit. Keep in mind, a lot of the second sea rods have really, really low max kilogram limits, and it seems bad. But if you guys didn't know, just like the trident rod actually used to be in C1, it's still really good because most of the fish, actually basically every single fish that you can catch in the second sea is below 6,000 max kilogram limit. So even though it seems really bad, the other stats do make up for it, and you don't really need a high max kilogram limit. Anyways, this rod is really good because it has a 10% chance to grow a tree. But do keep in mind, this doesn't actually work unless it is daytime. If it's nighttime, you're not able to grow a tree, meaning you should fish in a different spot. I would honestly recommend to fish in this spot right here, the Isle of New Beginnings, during day, because you are recommended to fish here at night, but even during day, it's not a bad fishing spot. So I would say fish here during day and you'll have a 10% chance to grow a freaking tree and get, okay, basically when you grow a a tree, you have a pretty high chance to get one of the following mutations: Mother Nature, green leaf, or brown wood, all of which give you a 3 times value boost on every single fish you get, meaning your journey to 200,000 credits will be a lot easier. Now listen, here's where it gets a little bit complicated. The next rod that I want you guys to buy is actually also here. I don't care if you grind it to 200,000 with the ethereal prism rod, or you grind it to 200,000 with any freaking rod in the freaking world, all right? Come over here and buy this rod. But you might be wondering, oh no, I can't buy it. Well, I can because I actually have already bought it. But if you can't buy it, it's because you need 70% bestiary completion right over here at the Isle of New Beginnings. And it does get a little bit hard because there's 2 freaking exotics here. So if you don't catch an exotic, it's going to be pretty hard to get 77%. But what I recommend for you guys to do is just use sundial totems, fish here like a whole day, and then fish here like a whole night, and you guys will easily get to 70% bestiary completion. But yeah, once you guys have 70% bestiary completion and your 200,000, come over here right behind the angler, and you should be able to buy the free spirit rod. And this one is really, really good, and it's debatably the best. I personally think it's the best for actually making money, but with a lure speed of 25%, 150% luck, 0.15 control, 10% resilience, and a 5,000 max kilogram limit. And once again, the max kilogram limit doesn't really matter. It's like the trident rod in C1 when it used to be good. But the best thing about this rod is not only just like the trident rod, how I was talking about, has a piercing thing. Like basically it has a chance to pierce your freaking fish. Let me just show you. Boom, boom, boom. So just like this trident rod in C1, let's see if this one gets a pierce, and it looks like it's not. Let's see if this one actually, yep, there we go. All right, as you guys can see, it pierces just like the trident rod. Absolutely wonderful and beautiful. And for this rod to make it actually the best money making rod in the game, I would say 100% get hasty on it. And with hasty, seaweed. Yep, hasty and seaweed is fine, especially because the resilience is okay. I mean, for the second C, 10% resilience sounds kind of bad, but it's okay. Plus the seaweed kind of makes up for it. Anyways, what you guys can do to get the final rod, which is actually called the Great Dreamer rod, the most expensive rod in the game and has a really cool Cthulhu ability on it, is grind all the way up to 500,000 credits. I know it sounds like a crazy amount, but don't worry, it's not that bad. Once again, you can grind at nighttime in the Isle of New Beginnings or at nighttime at Azure Lagoon. And then you guys want to go all the way over to the Cursed Shores. Come and follow me. Come right here, and right by this bridge, you actually kind of want to cross the street. By the way, guys, this is a good fishing spot as well. This is where I fished to get my first 1.5 million so I could actually buy all the rods in the game. And I actually did it with only the ethereal prism rod, but no, that is not the best money making rod. It is this rod on my back. Anyways, as you guys can see, I came right up here, and this is where you guys can buy the Great Dreamer rod, which is actually, yeah, that's the last rod you can get in the game and the best one. No, I didn't go over every rod, but that's how to get to the best rod. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to make another one when they actually add more updates. Honestly, this update kind of feels a little bit unfinished, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm seeing you guys in the next one. Hit that subscribe button. Goodbye.